Dude, my day was amazing once I got home because I stepped through the door and I went to the store yesterday and I bought one of those, like Airwick plug into the wall air fresheners, and it's waffle scented.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I walked in and my place smelled like waffles. So sitting next to a smelly dude on the bus, my day got a whole lot better when I was just like, unlock the door, open it up, and I'm just met with the sweet smell of vanilla, maple syrup, and waffles. Oh, wait, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Here we go. Welcome to the Moxstars podcast. I am Evan Kunai, one of your hosts, and I'm here with Christopher Ritter.
What up, dudes?
Is that too much? Was that too much? I don't think
it wasn't
so.
enough. I think you were at an 11. You could stand to be at like a 13 or a 14.
Well, I'll turn it up next time. We're back with you. We're here. We're talking about Magic and Dr. Pepper. As you know, this is the #1 podcast for both of those things in tandem. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by following us on YouTube. You can like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more notifications. Find us on all major podcasting platforms. You can leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way to helping people find the show and makes us look really, really cool. You can also join our Discord's community server where people are having, well, a ton of conversation about this sexy new Ian Malcolm Secret Lair drop. I was not expecting that today. So
yeah, no, that was I was not expecting it either. It, like many of you, I got that email this morning and I clicked through to see what the new secret layers were, and boom, front and center, sexy Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it's like, obviously that is going to sell a lot of these drops. I wouldn't be surprised if it sets records. But there's a lot of really cool Secret Lair drops we're going to talk about today. You can also support the show by becoming a supporter on Patreon. For $3 a month, you can get the exclusive Pepperhead roll, which turns your name Dr. Pepper Red in our Discord server, and you get access to 2 exclusive channels. The Shower Thoughts channel, where the community just sort of creates a conversation, and we take a second on a lot of our episodes to sort of talk about those things and give people the space to help us create new content. You can also get access to the Dr. Pepper channel, where we find out really cool things like celebrities who are secret Pepperheads and share all the Dr. Pepper memes in the universe. So
In the entire universe.
In the universe. You can scroll up. It's infinite. It's infinite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's the amount of people who are Pepperheads truly at their core it's innumerable. So
because there's always going to be new Pepperheads. There's like no limit. There's always been Pepperheads.
Exactly. As soon as you give birth to, as soon as a child is given life, it's like, boom, Pepperhead, potentially. So
yeah, I think I remember that, not to get religious, that's not really what we do, but I remember that verse from the Bible where, Pepperheads were begetting Pepperheads and whatnot.
Yeah, something like that. It's we're paraphrasing slightly.
Yeah. But it's in one of the old books.
Yeah, there's very old, there's paper pages that are lost to time. But today's episode, we are going to be focusing on this whole new format, banana format type thing that we've been working on, Commander Contained version 1.0. We're going to have a little bit of a conversation on where we're at with that now. We're also going to be having a few pregame actions with these secret layers that just fell on our heads today, and a little bit of spicy news based for that little thing that I don't know if it's slipped under the rug, but an artist had copied another person's art without permission, and so Wizards of the Coast put the hammer down. So let's get started with that right away. If you weren't familiar or aren't familiar with this news headline, the copy of Wayfarer's Bauble from the Ixalan or Lost Caverns of Ixalan Precon had certainly stirred up. Well, when it was printed, an artist had noticed that, oh man, that looks really familiar. That looks like artwork that I've done before. And so they went and they referenced their own piece, and sure enough,
and so the original artist, by the way, let me interject with that.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Lanfranconi.
Yes, thank you. They had noticed that they had just mirror flipped their artwork, used it as the background, and then the artist that was commissioned by Wizards of the Coast just put a dude holding a bauble in front of the whole thing, and enough to cover up what hopefully they would have, I don't know, hopefully would have let them slip by unnoticed, but unfortunately not the case. Wizards,
it's pretty sloppy too, because if you look at the original art, there's there's a staircase there, and there's a figure on that staircase, and like the additional art from David Sondered, who copied, just like put his new art over that figure in the photo, and then added some like additional trees and shrubbery. Yeah,
and the thing is that the trees in the distant background were the exact same. Like the staircase was the same, the building was the same. I was just like, I can't believe this. And we've seen this like actually multiple times. There was an issue with not Nexus of Fate, but it was the board wipe that cares about dragons and non-dragons from the Mystical Archives. Where,
okay, yeah, I don't know the name.
I'm so close with the Nexus. It's something Nexus. Anyway, the Ugin on the artwork was just ripped from the OG Ugin, or it was ripped from the Reality Shift Ugin, like that was appearing in the background. So they've dealt with this a few times where now this might be a larger issue. I'm not sure.
I mean, for artists, you like always have reference. You always have like a morgue file of like reference photos of things, and or your referencing other art that's already been created, and things like that. And so there's a difference between referencing and there's an outright copying. And this case is pretty obviously just like outright copying.
Yeah. This is a copy and paste job. And let's just read the statement from Wizards of the Coast. We recently became aware of claims that David Sondered's artwork on the card Wayfarer's Bauble used art created by another artist without that artist's permission. Such misuse of art is expressly prohibited by our artist guidelines and does not reflect the values of Wizards of the Coast. As such, we will be suspending any future work with David Sondered until further notice. So, huge shout to all the artists out there. Watch yourselves, because the Wizards of the Coast are on the case. It's I think that it's, it may be speaking to the larger issue is that Wizards of the Coast is producing so much product now. And I don't know what this guy's history was with Wizards of the Coast is. I'm sure a quick Scryfall could figure that out. But it's not like this guy is producing artwork for 16 cards a set. It's like, I just don't understand like why it would be such a lazy decision to do that and then also ruin the potential of any future jobs that you might have.
Yeah, it's a real unforced error on his part.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. An unnecessary little, well, it's not even a goof. It was definitely intentional. So, yeah. that little bit of news was interesting to me. Yeah, seeing it on Reddit, following the whole story, and then seeing the follow-up by Wizards of the Coast today. I'm glad that they're putting the clamps down on that kind of thing. But
yes, it seems like the correct way to deal with it, right?
Yeah. The little bit bigger conversation, we were surprised today by sexy Dr. Ian Malcolm, or as we other might know them as Tasigur, the Golden Fang. We got a whole new set of secret lair drops, which, to no one's surprise, there's a lot of these happening. And the last one just ended, and so there's a new one happening today. We got an entire Ian Malcolm secret lair drop, which I absolutely love. There's a lot of really great, flavorful, would you say meme worthy? These are very memey.
Definitely aware of the memes.
Yeah. It's one of those things, where like so we had all seen the Dr. Ian Malcolm Atla Palani Nest Tender spoiled a long time ago. And the thing is that one is a little bit of a paradox in and of itself, because never in any way, shape, or form was Ian Malcolm in the films or in the books tender to nests. Let's just say that he was expressly against the production of dinosaurs. So this card doesn't really make sense. And they put an egg token where he's like lovingly looking at a velociraptor coming out of its shell.
I think we hit the nail on the head that this whole secret lair was an excuse for, the Ian convalescent charmer card.
Yes, absolutely.
They started there and, worked backwards.
Yeah. The Malcolm's Mercurial Mirth, which is Tasha's hideous laughter. The flavor text is the moment where Ian Malcolm does that really awkward laugh in the helicopter where he's like, ha, ha, ha. Like that.
Uncanny.
Yeah, thank you. And then the Chaotician, and that's a Laboratory Maniac reskin where, all of the flavor text on these is lovely. I think that he has some of the most iconic lines in the film. Now, like you said, this was clearly, they started with Tasigur and work their way backwards. So as you work your way further backwards, the cards just make less and less sense, ending with Atla Palani. But we didn't just get that. We got the official drop for the Tomb Raider, which is Lara Croft and then a bunch of reskinned other things. I don't know if the value is necessarily there unless you're really looking to get Lara Croft and play that deck. They made another Jurassic World Secret Lair drop, and now this is actually really interesting. I'm actually excited for this. How do you feel about all these 5 dinosaurs reskinned in the Jurassic Park theme?
Well, I know how you feel about 5 dinosaurs reskinned in Jurassic Park theme, which is super positive. These are some decent reprints in here too, like Atali, Wayward Swordtooth, and then I think getting a little less playable from there, but still, some really cool looking cards.
Yeah, I'm less happy than I should be for some of these, just because I wish they were more uniform. The design is all over the place with these, and the T-Rex has the border that resembles the Jeep that that they were riding in, as it's like as the park starts going to hell. So
yeah, it's a little bit over designed.
Yeah. And then the Velociraptor, the coolest part about the design here is that the bottom right where it says menace, players can't gain life, looks like the caution sign that Dr. Sadler runs past on her way to the bunker, which is a pretty cool nod in design. So I think that's great. And all the text, like all of the titles are very much in line with like they use just directly ripped the font from the Jurassic Park title. So Yeah, I just wish it was a little bit more consistent, because I honestly don't know what I'm looking at. Partially.
I mean, the consistency comes from the art itself. Like, it's all in the same style,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
But then the design of the card is, it's messy. And that's the thing that gets me with the secret layers a lot of the time is like, there still needs to be a readability. At some point, like, design needs to meet function.
Yeah. And the Indominus Rex, like, I can see all the other ones, like, I don't know, like, I get the Spinosaurus is embodying Jurassic Park 3, the movie that it was from, but the Indominus Rex feels really outside in its design from the others. It just feels separate, and I don't know why they chose that. Like we talked about on the Discord today, it's just like not to be confused with Indominus Rex Alpha. Like,
yeah, I mean, pick another dinosaur. There's tons of cool dinosaurs. Literally, that's what dinosaurs are. They're cool. Just choose a different cool one.
Yeah, you could have put the Spinosaurus there, and I think we would have been happier, or I would have been happier with that. And then for Regisaur Alpha, you just pick, I don't know. Like you said, any other dinosaur for Indominus Rex would have just been better. I think I would have been happier.
Yeah.
Great layer. I think that at the end of the day, this is one that I think is going to be worth it. The Rampaging Ferocidon is a card that's played in Pioneer and Modern, so I think that could actually be worthy of the drop itself, even though its base cost isn't that much. Sometimes these variants do fetch a higher cost. So we've got the Secretversary. It is the time, or no, this is
Tales of the Time Stoppers.
Yes. Yeah, it's
which.
Oh, go ahead.
How do you feel about this one, man? I feel like Nexus of Fate is a real card, and then there's 3 other cards in here.
Absolutely, exactly how I feel, because none of the other cards are worth playing in any way, shape, or form. And
you know, same deal with the dinosaurs. Beautiful art, beautiful design, but over designed and not necessarily coherent.
Yes, I think that's where we're getting with a lot of this, with many of these secret layers. We got that with the Lord of the Rings holiday, like, special edition cards, like the Gandalf, the One Ring, all these things. Like, this very much reminiscent of that, where they're just sort of like shoehorning text into places and then warping it. And I like the Nexus of Fate, like the word instant is just shoehorned between this guy's hands and warped. Like, you can read it, but it is not legible. You can read it, you can understand it, but then outside of that, like the artwork, I have a hard time making out of everything else that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be a real jerk to play it in a competitive format, right?
Totally. I think that there is a certain point there's got to be some checks and balances here with some of these, and especially with the Wayfarer's Bauble. There should have been like somebody, like, because they just accept the art from a lot of these artists and they say, sweet, good to go, send it to print. But because otherwise that Faithless Looting never would have happened from Mystical Archives. Well, I do love it for how bad it is. They should be pushing some of these artworks back to artists and saying like, hey, like, we get this as like art as a form of expression, but this isn't really what we're looking for. And we just don't, they're not doing that. And that's how we end up with mistakes like the Wayfarer's Bauble and the Ugin copy and paste and stuff like that. And now we're getting artworks where the text is not legible, and so the cards are near unplayable. Yeah. Kind of bummed out by that.
I want to jump to, if we can, is Through the Wormhole.
Oh yeah, I love this one, dude.
I love this one. It's a great set of cards. Definitely, if you play Commander, all 5 of these cards could be viable for you.
Totally.
My issue, though, is there's a price jump here that is different than the others, because this is a Galaxy foil. Instead of these 5 cards running you $40 at a premium over, the regular price of $30, it's $50 for this bundle.
Ugh.
So to get the Galaxy Foil treatment, they're throwing an additional $10 onto the price.
Dude, that hurts me. I didn't know that. I was just expecting to get this for $40 again.
Yeah, $40. It would be. I almost pulled the trigger on this one this morning for $40, and then I looked at the price again, and it was $50, and it was just so cynical to charge that extra $10 for the different treatment that I was like, nah, I'm gonna pass. Actually,
well, it says on here, and it's funny that they wrote foil effect simulated because there's part of me that just thinks that the Galaxy Foil effect will just like drown out some of the artwork like it did in the Unfinity with like and some of those that last secret lair drop that did Galaxy Foil. I think this is all so cool though. Oh man, that sucks.
Man, I bet these cards are going to be beautiful, right? But
yeah,
$10 a piece.
Yeah, the Soul Ring is just gorgeous. Forge.
That Thought Vessel.
Yeah.
That Arcane Signet.
Yep.
All 5 of these.
Yeah, the Lightning Greaves just skating on Saturn's rings. Oh, God, that's so cool. Yeah.
Probably the best looking command tower that's been printed.
Yep. And you know the way that it bends in the light is going to look absolutely stunning. You know, I can be cynical sometimes about some of these. And this one I am for the price gouge, but for the artwork, gosh, this is a good secret lair.
Beautiful. Artist name, Danny Pendergast, by the way.
Yeah. I'm going to be following that with much interest. I follow your career. All right.
Yeah, luckily that one, the Through the Wormhole bundle is part of another bundle that comes with another thing I hate, which is the when they do 5 lands as a secret lair drop.
Yeah.
In this case, I'm a little more tempered on it, the Paradise Frost foil or the Paradise Frost drop, because they are at least snow basics, which you don't have a ton of foil options for, don't have a ton of alternate arts for.
Yes. I was just looking at that, and I think that these, I am under the firm belief that if you just had increments, like you're like, hey, we're offering this secret lair 1 card at a time, $5 for each one, maybe $10 for each one. I don't know, but you would get more people buying 5 foil snow-covered swamps than you would get people buying just like the bundle of 5. But I do agree, this one, out of all of them, there was the the Windows 98 themed snowlands from before. These ones rival those, and I would pay for these if I was playing in Modern or in Pioneer, because snow-covered lands are, like you said, not easy to come by.
Yeah, and you, you know what? For you, you don't really play Tainted Pact, so you don't really care about keeping those like pact lines clean. But snowlands are relevant in Commander too. Oh,
that's right, because you could play a snow-covered island and a standard basic island, right? Or no? Yeah, and then it would roll.
Cards.
Yeah, roll past it. Okay, that makes sense. That is viable. I didn't really think about that really ever. But
so this is, usually we're pretty down on the basic land drops, but these being snow-covered lands and these being like especially beautiful arts, kind of, I don't know. I'm considering this one.
Yeah, I mess with it for sure. That, like you said, most of the time, like the Godzilla lands, I mess with it. This one, I mess with it. 98 Windows themed ones, I mess with those.
For sure. And like I was saying before, this one and Through the Wormhole come in a bundle together with a third one, the gift wrap one. And you can basically get gift wrap for free if you get the bundle. Unfortunately, I'm not really seeing much in the gift wrap bundle.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be the next one I talked about, because I like that all but one of them are non-creature spells or lands, right? Because that actually makes it makes a little bit more sense. Like, I like Distant Melodies artwork. I like Cathartic Reunion. Homeward Path looks really cool. I think that'd be really great to see on a playmat. And then Moment's Peace, you're never going to see that, but it is cool artwork. The only one I have an issue with is Giver of Runes because it doesn't depict a creature at all. There's big eyes and then there's a mouth and then...
I mean, it's sort of a creature.
Yeah, well, there is a small suit underneath the head. So, man.
Yeah.
It's having a hard time.
Maybe there's a hand there to the left of it. I don't know, man.
Yeah. There's a little bird face. Is that part of the... is it giving it a rune with the pat on the head? Maybe.
It's a little esoteric.
Yeah, it is very esoteric. I do like this art style. So, I mean, it's not something that I'm going to get. I might buy the single of Homeward Path if I was ever playing something like that. But I would also get the single of Cathartic Reunion. The other cards I don't really play. But
yeah, I don't really see any of those cards having homes in Commander decks. But, that as a freebie, basically getting that Homeward Path if you get that together with the Paradise Frost and Through the Wormhole as the triple bundle.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
That's the thing is that I've seen them offer way more different packages and bundles than I've seen before. So I think they're trying something new with this one where they're like, you want to get the Jurassic World stuff, but you also want to get the Ixalan one. Well, we can offer a bundle with that. Hey, do you want to get the Jurassic World stuff and the Tomb Raider?
They chopped it up a little differently.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the Lara Croft Adventuring bundle, like in that one, you get the Lara Croft bundle, of course, and then you get that Time bundle that we talked about, and then you get Through the Wormhole. So like, for 110, you get Through the Wormhole, sweet. You get the Lara Croft one if you're interested in playing Lara Croft because she's mechanically unique.
Yep.
That
actually
and then, you get
saves
Nexus
you
of
money.
Fate, and that sort of finds value there.
That saves you actually quite a bit of money. It actually offsets that whole like 50-40 thing we were talking about with Through the Wormhole. You said it was for 110?
Yeah. Let me double check that. Yeah, 109.99.
Yeah. That's like if I was interested in all three of those, which I'm interested in 2 of 3 of those, that would be worth it. The only one I'm not interested in is the Time one.
I mean, but look at it that way, like, you're getting the Time one for free in that instance,
right?
And then you get Nexus of Fate, which you might play. Yeah,
that's fair. Or you could just sell the other ones, keep the Nexus, and make a little bit of money back.
Boom.
I think there's only 2 more to like really, that are 2 more in the drop. We'll just cover them quick. There's the Myco Synthwave, which is awesome. The artwork here, stellar. I love this. I want to see more of this. We have Mycosynth Wellspring. It's 2 mana. If you don't know what it does, when it enters the battlefield or is put into a graveyard, you can search your library for a basic land, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And then you get Mycosynth Golem and Mycosynth Lattice. So that's the big one here. Mycosynth Lattice is not a cheap card. And that's basically what they're trying to get you with here is if you are going to play Mycosynth Golem in Affinity Artifacts or whatever, that's here for you. And you also have Mycosynth Lattice.
Yeah, the only bummer here is that it's 3 cards for the same price as a normal bundle.
Yep. I think they're this is predatory to Modern. If I'm being honest, it's for a very particular player that would enjoy this.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I think the Mycosynth Lattice is going to exceed the cost of the Secret Lair itself.
What does Mycosynth Lattice go for?
Let's just do a quick Card Kingdom check. We are not sponsored by Card Kingdom, but they are great for referencing prices on cards. If their freaking sign up thing wouldn't block me every time I try to search for a card.
Hey, while you're looking that up,
dude, it's actually not even the most expensive card out of all the Mycosynth stuff.
Oh, really?
Do you want to guess what it is?
No.
It's Mycosynth Golem.
Well, how much is that?
It's a $30 card.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
Mycosynth Golem's actually the chase here, which is awesome. I love that. And if you're a Commander player, guess what? You get Mycosynth Lattice, which the cheapest version is $12. So
Wizards allegedly not looking at the secondary market just has those two in a 3-card drop at the same price.
Yeah, a foil Mycosynth Lattice goes for $65 at the lowest, and the foil Mycosynth Golem goes for $80.
Ooh, okay.
So,
I mean, that's a great pickup then.
Yeah, this is actually looking like a really great secret lair drop. They're obviously, with this only being 3 cards, they're very aware. So that one, 100% worth your money. The last drop we're going to talk about is the last one that they've announced. It is the Lost Caverns of Ixalan Showcase Secret Lair, and it features a lot of the legendary creatures from the original Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan. You have Kumena, Tyrant of Arazka, Vona, Butcher of Magan, Captain Lannery Storm, Admiral Beckett Brass, and Alenda the Dusk Rose. These are.
I don't think there's much here unless you play any of those as a commander, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. If you are playing, I think Alenda is the most expensive card here, but
okay,
for me, the chase card would be Kumena, because I have a Kumena deck, and well, I can't change my artwork for Kumena because it's literally the signed Tyler Jacobson artist proof in foil.
Well,
so,
why would you do that? Why would you change it from Tyler Jacobson?
I obviously can't. Plus, the Vona in this is absolutely terrifying. The face is disgusting. I just don't know. I don't know how you aren't looking at the artist and being like, come on, hey, man, he looks gross. He's a
oh yeah,
ooh,
looks like a real creep. Honestly.
Yeah, ooh. God, gross. It looks like he taps to pay 7 life to destroy target non-land permanent. Ugh. Gross. All right. Moving on to the main subject. We have been pitching something the last couple weeks that, we're very interested because we're trying to stir the pot of creativity, and that is Commander Contained. It is a format within the Commander format that we are, or a rule set, I should say, within the standard Commander format where we're trying to build decks with within their own sets. So to give you an example, the new Lost Caverns of Ixalan precons, you can take the a legendary creature from one of those decks and improve that deck with cards from the base set of Lost Caverns of Ixalan. So you get all the stuff with that is designed to work mechanically within the set to help improve that stuff, but you can't expand further than that. So it is limited in scope. But that also means you can look back to older commander decks. I was looking at the Warhammer 40k stuff, and I really wanted to build that Tyranid Swarm deck. So I'm using Magus Lucia Kane as my commander, and I called it the Can of Alien Worms because it's contained. Ho ho!
Hey! And
I was really surprised that across all of those commander decks that came out from the Universes Beyond set with Warhammer, that I got access to a lot of efficient removal in red from the Demon deck. And then I got a lot of efficient interaction from the Esper deck, like the Astartes. So there was a lot of stuff to actually plug and play and work around to create a deck that was more efficient than its base variant. So
yeah, I mean, that was my experience too, playing around with the Lord of the Rings stuff and, just sticking within that set. There's a lot of stuff self-contained within that. And, you can look at Doctor Who. I bet you can do the same thing with Doctor Who. Next year, Final Fantasy and the Marvel sets. I think, there's lots of potential there. Those Universes Beyond things where they're looking at it as self-contained already. They're doing some of the work for you almost.
Yeah, and it sort of limits the scope of power, because we've all been this last year we spent a lot of time being involved in the CDH community, and while we do love to put our brains into that pot and stir it around and figure out what the maximum power level is for a deck and work out every intricacy and make sure that every card has purpose and a plan. This limits the scope to say, like, I am still doing that, but with a limited, like very limited scope to sort of balance everything out. Now, this is something that is going to need work, right? And that's like the research that I'm trying to do right now is put in the work, build a few decks, play them against each other to really figure out how powerful these are or how weak they are against the... So like the first experiment that I'm going to run is actually tomorrow. You guys are, I will be able to report back on the next episode, but I'm going to take one of these Commander Contain decks to Mox Sporting House in Ballard to play out in the wild. Essentially, take it and just see how strong it is against the decks that everyone else has just built for casual fun. And
okay. So you're just going to play it against random casual, no restriction decks.
Yep, and just see where it stands. And the next thing is getting a group of people involved to build their own Commander Contain decks and then hosting games on the Discord server so that we can sort of work on what the list of cards that we're all going to allow, which is sort of like the difficulty I've run into with a lot of these decks is I wanted to look further back to find legendary creatures from older sets that still people would be interested in playing. So way back in the day, if you aren't familiar, Magic the Gathering used to print in blocks, which means you get multiple sets within a plane that would introduce mechanics, and then for each sequential block would improve upon those mechanics. So it was a way for them to like introduce things and then balance the game as it went on. But now the release of products is so quick, they usually only visit a plane for one set, introduce a bunch of new mechanics, and then immediately abandon them. The thing that I'm finding more than anything with this new limited scope is that they've increased the power exponentially in a lot of these new sets in order to make them viable in the competitive formats. So there's so many fewer cards that you have to improve upon. Like, so I built Pantlaza as well. So, or Pantlaza. And the thing about that is that when I went in to like build upon like this discover mechanic or to put big booty dinosaurs in there, I was really just drawing off of my experience in limited, like my pre-release. And then I did a few limited drafts sealed things on Arena. And I was able to learn a little bit more about like how the deck wants to work and how the set of Lost Caverns of Ixalan works. And that was good information to help me improve that deck just within the limited scope of Commander Contained. That's the type of research that, is kind of being done is like, I'm going to have to go back and probably draft some of these older sets. Like, I think Neon Kamigawa is going to be a crazy build around because of...
Oh, yeah. No. When I was doing the Lord of the Rings battle box, I was experimenting with Neon Kamigawa as well. And that set, like, there's so much you can do just with that one set.
Yeah, because and here's the thing that balances out, I think, older cards and newer cards, is that some of the newer cards, there are cards that are clearly designed for Commander hidden within standard legal sets. Like, I would say Jetmir is one of those cards. Rafine has obviously been very successful in standard, but another one of those cards where you could put it in the command zone, and then if you built within the set, you would actually have a pretty great Commander Contain deck, especially if you're able to draw from the Commander decks that came from that set as well. So I was looking back at some older cards, and the thing that I ended up creating was a little list of like always legal cards, because before they made Commander decks attributing to each set, they didn't. And so I think that an always legal set of cards is going to be Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and then all of the signets, like the ones that you have to pay one, tap it, add 2 of those color. And that just gives those decks from the previous era a chance to compete with these newer decks, where like these newer decks, they probably aren't going to include a lot of those. They might, but they probably won't, because they're built efficiently enough, or there's enough like ramp or whatever in the set to help them get where they're needing to go. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And so the big thing is, and I was sort of like joking about it earlier, but it's like, I'm trying not to give Kinnan too much gas, because that is just an inherently broken card. So if I make all of these things legal, Kinnan really only gets 3 pieces that, well, everyone knows the rule. You always kill Kinnan. So it's not like Kinnan gets...
I think you're going to end up banning Kinnan. Yeah.
Yeah, because the more that I look at it and the more that I give it, or give these decks, there's some cards that I considered like Farseek, right? In green, it's something where like and then I look at other artifacts where like Farseek doesn't break Kinnan. Farseek definitely helps green decks with consistency, but then I also thought maybe just put Cultivate as an always legal card. But does that give players the incentive to always play green? And so then I have to make other cards legal in different colors that help balance that out. So I was thinking Faithless Looting is one card that always legal. If it's legal in the set, congratulations, you've always had access to it. But like Brainstorm being another one to help blue, Dark Ritual to help black, and then nothing has really, maybe the white artifact that enters the battlefield and allows you to search for 2 planes. Archaeomancer's map.
Archaeomancer's map. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I thought that is like probably a really great white card in general, just because it stimulates anything that really provokes basic land strategies that don't help you like turbo out, because almost no decks, because they haven't printed shock lands into commander decks yet, almost no decks are going to have access to that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was talking with Tordeth about, it was K Mr. K in the Shower Thoughts channel about the power of Dragons of Tarkir, like the Tarkir block. Because there are so many 3-color legendaries from that set. You get Narset and Enlightened Master, which is already an insane card, but then if you give access to like all of the signets and then a few other like Brainstorm and Faithless Looting, and then they also have the fetches. Like that is a block where they have access to fetches, and so you just wonder how much more powerful is that Commander Contain deck going to be than modern things or things that are in between. So one thing from the community, because what I'm planning on doing is hosting on Fridays. So the day the episode comes out, I am going to be on the Discord server hosting games of Commander Contained, because I really want to suss out a ban list and an always legal list and sort of promote a healthy, well, it's not necessarily casual. I still want people to play to win, obviously, but it's a new creative way to build a deck with a limited scope that will always keep you looking for the next commander or the next from whatever set to help push forward a strategy that you particularly enjoy. So I think it really balances some things out. And that's been a problem with, or maybe it's been an opinion of mine from CDH, is that things move so quickly that they don't look like they're moving at all. And I think that, first, congratulations to Atlas for winning the Pacific Northwest CDH Regional Finals this past weekend.
Hey, congrats, Atlas.
Yeah, and Atlas has been playing the, minor variations, but Kenrith deck for a long time, because there's when you reach a certain point, some things are figured out. And so Kenrith, not necessarily figured out because that list is always changing, but it does feel like the top whatever, we recorded the episode about climbing to the top of Olympus. Like those decks that sit on the top of Olympus are figured out, and they always like compete at the table. Like for instance, the final pod was Kenrith, and then Blue Farm had Timna Thrasios, and then God, why I can't remember. Oh, and Sisay. So the final pod, yeah, Sisay, Kenrith, Blue Farm, and Timna Thrasios. So like those are, it's figured out. Like everyone knows that if you want them, you give yourself the best shot winning games. Those are the decks you play. And so this is just a way to like sort of mix things up. And for those of you out there who aren't looking to grind and figure out every nuance of every point of priority, this could be a good chance for you to have new fun with a game with mechanics you already know. So
yeah, no, it seems like exciting territory to explore.
Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way, because I'm hoping I'll see you in one of these games on Friday night or on Fridays, Chris.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I got the setup ready, and we'll have some fun on Spell Table.
Yeah, I think it's gonna just encourage me to play more Commander overall. Right, and I've just been excited to dive a little bit, into something that feels fresh. And
awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this before. Just you always got to find like new avenues to like stay engaged with this.
Yeah, and I think what it's going to do is allow me to see strategies that I could then, once I've figured them out or I've created this commander contained perfect monster, then I can always break the chains and I can always expand that deck into something that can be competitive or can go to a CDH tournament and at least put up numbers. It might allow me to see a perspective that other players don't have.
Yeah, limitations sometimes lead to like, those constraints lead to like new perspectives on what you're doing.
Totally. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys, the community, are excited about it. And if you put together a few decks, I'm going to be proxying and printing one off tonight so that I can take it to Mox tomorrow. But hopefully you get out there, you do a little research. If you have any questions, just reach out to me or reach out to the channel discussion go to the channel discussion channel on the Moxstars Discord server. And
do we have a individual channel for this yet?
No, you know what? How about that? I will create an individual channel for this and we'll have the conversation there. So look forward to seeing a new channel pop up in the Discord called Commander Contained. And we'll just work on it there.
Hell yeah.
All right, dude, you have anything to add? Are there any decks that you're like, I know you said you were looking at a few things. Is there any commander in particular?
No, you know what? I think I might just finish building that Lord of the Rings battle box and just have that with these restrictions, right?
Yep.
And since I already have that ready to go, I think that's the project I'm going to start with. And like I said, I'd messed around with Neon Kamigawa as well, and maybe look at some of that stuff, because there's some fun like internal synergies that like I'm bummed that I missed the draft format for that one.
Yeah, it gives purpose to cards that otherwise would not see play, like Ironhoof Boar. Like channeling that to give something +3/+1 in trample is nasty. So I'm excited because and to build a modified deck, like you would have access to the whole Chishiro modified deck too. That'd be a cool thing. Be a pretty cool deck.
Yeah, you're hot on modified. You were messing around with that for a little bit,
dude. Literally, the only historic brawl deck I have on Arena is Halana and Elena modified, and it slaps, dude. It's so good. I even put mutate in there because in my head, mutating is modifying, but in the game, it doesn't do shit.
It should.
Yeah, it should. It should. It's a modified creature. Come on.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Thank you. Thank you for affirming what is, ultimately not true. It's true in my heart. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the Moxstars podcast, you can be sure to, you should be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell on YouTube for more notifications. Find us on all major podcasting platforms. Join our Discord community server where we're having all this conversation about Commander Contained. And, well, that's how the news broke to me about this sexy Ian Malcolm. So get on there. You can probably have the news broken to you sometime somewhere on the channel. And then you can also become a supporter of the channel through our Patreon, where you can join there for $3 a month. You join the Pepperhead. It's the Pepperhead tier, and you become a Pepperhead in the Discord server where your name turns Dr. Pepper red. You get access to 2 exclusive channels, Shower Thoughts and the Dr. Pepper channel. And that's pretty much it. If you... yeah, that's pretty much it. Sweet.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Not just pretty much. That is definitely 100% it.
Nice. I think we kicked ass today, Ritter.
I think we did. I think we did it.
Hell yeah. All right.
Nice. Yeah. I will research getting a good microphone hooked up. I just got to get, I'm going to look at some of those Black Friday deals, and then we should be pretty good to go for next week.
Okay, sweet. And we'll have video podcasting up and running. Peace.
Awesome. Peace.